without further ado, it's my honor, and I get this only once in a while, that I introduce a special person to me and our family, and of course our planning team. Hitomi has been coming to Hilo for decades, but she's still very beautiful, very young and vibrant. Yeah, don't you agree? Yeah. Yeah. Hitomi's son Colin went to school here at University of Hawaii in Hilo on a scholarship. So we were so lucky, and that's how we really started working with Hitomi closer, because she would come 2 to 3 times a year, maybe. I mean, it's like once a quarter she was missing Colin that much. Or maybe he was missing her that much. But we would get together always and have talks and share ideas. And some of what you experience at Fresh Look is a lot of ideas that the seeds were planted maybe decades ago. Without too much delay, I just wanted to share the Neotropica theme that the Hawaii Floriculture and Nursery Association shares with everyone. The new way of designing with Hawaii's flowers. The Neotropica theme came from Hitomi. Yeah? And she came up with this idea more than 15 years ago, in about 2007, 2006. Yeah, and we kicked that idea around. How to design Hawaii's flowers and foliage in a new, innovative, provocative way. Because as a grower, and many of us, we couldn't introduce new product every year. So she came up with the idea, hey, you don't have to introduce or reinvent yourself every year. We could do it through design. But you have to share this idea with the designers, and so we have for over 15 years, a little less than 20 years. We've been trying to share Neotropica, which is a design with all tropical flowers. And that was from Hitomi. So Hitomi, from our Hilo community, from the state of Hawaii, from anyone who loves flowers and tropical flowers specifically, we want to mahalo you on that. Thank you so much. Yeah. So all the accolades and all the awards is all in here. You can read it, but I just wanted to share this story with you as I introduce our friend and inspiration for Hawaii flowers and foliage, Hitomi Gilliam, AIFD.
Isn't that the most loveliest thing? Like, it's the only place in the world that we get this as a presenter and to present on their behalf, their beautiful product. It's exciting every year to come back because there's something new still. And it's really important for me to evolve. And so the opportunity every year to do this and share ideas with some of my fellow friend designers like Lois and Sue, some of the locals that I get to work with. So it's a very enriching place for me every year. And I sort of rejuvenate every year here with the Selection Tropicals. What's really exciting today with this Fresh Look 2025 is exactly this. We have never been in a tent. Right outside. I think this is like really one of the most refreshing new look for us that is so beautiful, because now we're really surrounded by the fauna and flora. When I say fauna, there's mongoose here. And we're told that you can't put some of your installations too low because the mongoose will get it during the day, and if you at night maybe there's some mice or rats or something, so like you got to kind of understand when you do outdoor installations that there are these effects that you have to think about. But the exciting thing also that's different about this particular event is that even though that we're outside, and well, the purpose of that is to be here at the Lilikalani Gardens and to do the installation, outdoor installation. So this one here is a lot to do with mechanics and techniques that goes into building outdoor installations. So that's a theme, and that's a new one. We have never done that before. So that's also very exciting. And as Eric mentioned, when we first arrived, the designers, we were invited to get to the tea ceremony at the tea house, which was absolutely wonderful because there's a great deal of influence of Japanese Hawaiians here that have nurtured and helped with maintaining and funding for these gardens, and you can clearly see it's a beautiful Japanese garden. There's an arborist from Makino Gardens in Shikoku that comes here every year to help prune the cherry trees. So there's a real tie with the Japanese community here, as well as, of course, the Hawaiians. So I titled mine Japanesque, Inspiration with Hawaiian Flowers, because it's really a marriage of those two cultures that is ever present here. No matter where you look, you see it, because there's a lot of Asian, Japanese foods, which I love. I mean, you have to understand why I love this place. It's got everything I want. So basically, that's kind of where I'm going to come from today, is to share with you techniques and mechanics that's going to be very suitable for garden installations. And for some of you, I've talked to some of you that have arrived early, and I asked, did you know that there's a garden installation competition on Saturday? And most of you didn't know that this was going on. And so there is. And as registered people here, you are able to participate in a competition, and I hope that you do as an individual or any teams of up to 5. So it could be really a fun exercise. It's sort of an extension of the workshop that's going to be at the end of the day when you're seeing us install on site. And then you can get some ideas to think about what you might do tomorrow morning. It'll be from 8 o'clock in the morning till 1 o'clock. You have a lot of time. There'll be bamboo structures, similar ones set up in 7 locations. There are 7 spots, and there's going to be lots of flowers for you to play with. So I think this experience could be very enriching for you to actually go and do that as well. That sort of makes your experience very complete, I think. So what I want to do today is really show you some of the techniques that I use when I do any kind of installations, and also some extra details that you can put in if you're competing, that's going to push you over the edge and really make the real creative looks. So I have a lot of different techniques and mechanics. That's my game. I love mechanics. I love structure building. I love making things that are really, really cool and sturdy and functional at the same time. So I wanted to start out with some of my ingredients, and then I'm going to show you what you can do with it that you can carry out into installation work. So I want to first introduce you to my friend that I travel with her everywhere now because people like it so much, so I do it. And her name is Ephemera. I have a name for her. There she is. And the reason why I bring her is, of all the things that I do and teach, and I post on Instagram and Facebook, and there's a lot of things that I love, that's my style, that I post and think, oh my God, people are going to love this. Well, some do and some don't. But this one, everybody loves this one. Like, I have to keep posting it because it's in high demand. Like, people want to know, when is the next ephemera that you're going to show? And I'm like, of all the things that I do, is this what you like the most? But the thing is, it really is a very fun piece because you can do it Hawaiian style. You can do it Moroccan look. Like, I go and look at hairstyle competition pieces and the shapes, and I create the structure that's shaped like that so that the flowers can design into that shape. And I actually use this particular piece as a kind of an exercise that I do for myself after I teach a class and I have a lot of leftover shorts. And so it's a surprise package of blooms, and I challenge myself to make the best design I can with whatever that's left over. And that becomes my piece for that week that I post. And it's so much fun because it makes me very agile with color and texture and learn to place things in a systematic way that makes a beautiful composition that we're hoping that the audience out there will like. So I did this one, and you can see kind of the structure in it because it's built with what I call my yarn-covered extenders. And this is what it's made out of. And this is my hobby. I make like 10 to 15 every day at night. because I really believe, and you don't just have supplies on the shelf like water tubes. You have to make it into a component that's ready to use. So if I have a bundle of wire, I use it all up till all of these are made, so that I have this, because I'm not going to make it when I need it. I have all these ingredients. That's why I have so many. And that's really important, because it's like a Lego set. And so you can make anything, anytime, because you have the ingredients. It's very quick. So I build it on a headband that sits on this. And what's really great about it also is that there's space. It's very transparent structure. But there's a lot of crossing lines of these tied into each other, so that it has spots for stems to go into, like a hand-tied bouquet. So I don't need to glue any glue. Everything gets wedged in. So there's this mechanic that I make. And by the way, I brought a whole bunch. So if you want to play with it into your structure as you're designing your, welcome to take some of these so you can see how it works. And I did build a very big conical structure out there, and you can see it over there, the orange one, because I want it to be like hot molten lava color. So I brought those with me, so I carry a suitcase of all these. And I can put it up quickly because it doesn't have to be really tied. Like, I just build a structure and I sort of scrunch it up in it, because then it becomes like a chihuly-like structure into which I just drop flowers in water tubes just into it. It's the quickest, fastest flowering, because all the work is in the structure. And it's not even the final structure that is a time-consuming. This is time-consuming, but I have it made in advance. So when I come, I just scrunch it up. I did that probably in 2.5 hours, and it's really a very tall one. You can see it up close. And in the afternoon, when we're doing the workshop, you'll get to see how it gets flowered. So this is the base of it. So I want you to be able to play with that. So the other ingredient that I also make, and maybe we'll pass this around in a minute, but it's these. So these are actually just wire. This is 18-gauge steel wire that I buy at Home Depot. And I just tape it so it's the same color. It's really nice to have this mechanic to be mostly in different shades of green, so that when you build flowers into it, it just blends in. But it keeps it transparent and lifted, and it's not smushed down, because without that structure, everything gets pasty on top of each other. And not only do you lose the value of the flowers, but you also lose that beautiful airiness. Also makes it much lighter because there's not as much weight. So that's the reason why I like this so much. But this is what I use in conjunction to this. So I'm going to usually make it so that's, so I make these components as well. Like, I have it made already, so that I also pack along with me this thing, and I just fold it up like this so that it's like a button. And I just have a lot of this as well. So in combination with this and that, I can build anything I want. And the beauty of that also is it evolves. So it's this shape, but then if you look at my Instagram, there's some that has these big horns, like, or it might have a big wind swept, because I can just, after I take the flowers out, I can just shape it into something else. So then I use the Bow Derrick hair, which is the infructance of the palm. Look at these. I mean, how beautiful it is to have this and this, because the texture difference, but there's also a purpose behind it. While this is with a yarn, so if you do glue, all you need is just a dab, because it sticks to this just instantly and doesn't come off. And the other thing that's great about this is it also absorbs water. So if you mist it, it keeps that whole environment very, very humid. And so it keeps the stems and flowers last much longer when it's in this environment. But what this does, in addition, is that it's nubby, so that when you put the stems in, it doesn't slide around. It gets caught in between those nubs, so there's a functionality, not only functionality, but also the textural. So it serves, like, I believe in putting in the work. If it allows me to do many things, I don't make things just for one time and it's over. I make it so that it has multiple uses, because then it's worthwhile doing, right? So anyway, that's kind of what this is all about. So with this one, basically, I was able to create a very airy kind of a structure, and you can see it up close. And the reason why I did this, by the way, is because our installation site didn't get done yesterday till 3. So I wanted to show you some of the techniques that applies to actual installations, but I did it on this so that you can see how it works even in everyday things that you post, not just for the structure. But it makes it so that there's a lot of network of crossing lines, so that all you have to do is slip the stem in. Like these orchids, for instance. They are in the water tube, like this. And so all I have to do is find a spot that in between the stem, and then I just push into it so that it finds that spot. And it's solid. Like, it doesn't move because it's supported into those little pockets. But so often with these kind of headdresses and things, everything is pasted on surfaces, so there's no air between the surface and the flower. But what this does is give you so much air, and it almost looks like the passion vine is growing on it, which is really what I think flowering is all about. Is you build a structure, the art piece, and then you flower it to make it come alive. And vine is one of my favorite material, because I feel like when it's turgid and it whips out like that, it feels like it's growing right on there, even though it's a cut material. And I love the fact that we give life to things. You know, it's not a piece of art that's static. It's a piece of art that is truly dynamic. And I love that. So that's kind of what it is. I also use the anthurium. So those are not in water. I see that this one's getting a little limp. So often what I do with design like this is I actually cut and put it in without water. I call it free stemming. Some material can handle it, like carnations will be fine for probably 3 or 4 days. It's because they're usually tucked in tight without water. But I will test this out to see how it holds up. This is going limp. So what I normally do is I sketch in the flower without water, and the flowers that needs water, I pull it out, put water tube in, and put it back in. Because that way you can see exactly what you want to do by sketching it in, and then you add water to what you need to make it last for however long. So that's how I do that. So with this one, I wanted to show you this piece, because I thought it's possible that I might put this piece in the installation. Because I didn't know to actually build it in there just yet. But I thought the human element, the headdress, make it Hawaiian. But the color palette, because mine is kind of orange and that on one side, but then maybe the Japanese side, like a lot of Japanese really like pinks and lavenders. So that could be the Japanesque side, and then the Hawaiian side is the lava, the hot molten. You know, I'm not a flower shop florist retail anymore. So seriously, a lot of times I do this kind of project as a hobby. Like, I love it. But in that learning process, I have something to be able to teach that's really fun. And I have to say that this whole idea of showing something like this has been very fruitful, because a lot of the young people really love it. And if I need young students to come into my system, because I have a lot of older ones that's been with me for a long time, but to attract the youngs, like if you do a workshop to do this, like you're going to have a flock of young kids that want to do this thing and do a little photo op thing, right? So it's a great entry level into what flowers can be all about. And so that's what's fun about it. So the next mechanic I want to show, and like I say, because we didn't have the structure out there to do it, so I just decided to make some arrangement that actually shows and illustrates some of the techniques that you may use into the structure. So you can see that it's a bamboo platter. I go everywhere, HomeSense, all these places. I buy anything that's wood so I can drill it, so I can make my structure based out of it. And you can see that there's bamboo skewer that goes through it. So I drill all around, kind of in an outer ring, just randomly down. And then I take these bamboo skewer and create these. And these are really, really helpful installations because they have the skewer. So wherever you need a flower, built into your structure, you just stab it in there. Because I don't believe in placing it already and attached, because that might not be the spot where I want the flower. You know, I want to be able to, so the whole idea in installation is I also cut and free stem to sketch it in what I want, and then I pull that stem out, stab this in there, and put the flower in there. But again, you have to have these ingredients made already. You don't want to be making it while you're designing. So again, having components, many of these, is really, really important. And I call all of these components that I use, reuse to reduce items, because I reclaim them. I take it out and bring it back, wash it, use it again and again. Because that means I don't have to make these again and again. I use it 10 times, 20 times, 30 times, however long, until it breaks. Which means that I have no trips to the landfill every time I do this work, because everything is collected back. That makes me feel good that I do that. So with this one, the key thing is using,
Hitomi,
yes?
are they on with bind wire?
Yes, yes, they're bind wire. Although, one of my favorite, and I forgot to bring it, one of my favorite is wrapped with raffia, because it looks so beautifully crafted, each and every piece. I know that Sue used just 2 zip ties, so it's just quick as well. You're going to take the water tube like this, and I actually take the U-glue dash and quarter it, because you don't need it exposed, you just need enough for it to stick, right? So I can use 1 or 2, but you just run this bamboo skewer right there, and then all you have to do, okay, where's my, yeah, there's the bind wire. And I don't even cut this, by the way, because it's just less waste of these. Even these, I just want only little bits. I don't want pieces. I find myself, when I get assistants, if they abuse it so much, they cut these long, they use it, cut those off, I'm like, oh my God, there's like 3 more pieces to just throw away. Like, I'm just very frugal. But anyway, I'm just gonna go here and just wrap it 3 times, and then just do this, and then cut that off. So you might wanna prepare, and so many of those, and you have them handy. If you have a tool belt, you can have all these in your tool belt, right? So let's pass this around so they can see. So like I say, on my off time, I'm preparing my components. I'm making lots and lots of components so that I don't run out. And that way I can create as big as I want, because I have all the stuff ready to use. So basically, those are the water tubes that were placed in there. They are cut shorter, and I let it come through. And then I actually use the orange-colored, orange and reds, extenders like this, and just thread it through and tie it in. So that, and it actually has a wire structure inside, like, the ones that like handmade chicken wire kind of thing inside. Because my son says you have way too many of those things. Can you move it out, please? I said, okay, I'll take it to Hawaii and I'll leave it. He's so happy that I'm moving some things out. But I know that whoever gets this can use it over and over again, right? Because once you build this, like all you have to do is drop in flowers. Like it takes like 5 minutes to design this thing, because really the design starts with a structure that tells you where the flower goes. So the flowering takes so little time. I can give this to a junior designer that has never made a structure like this or designed a structure like this, and let them just do it, because there's all those tubes. They have options to flower into any of it. And in this one, because in Hawaii we're very heavy with a red anthurium, right? And so I'm trying to, that's why I use the red extender, so that's the red then ties into the anthurium, that then tie into the comet, the protea, pincushion, and then that tie into, like then I can go into the peaches or like combo, and then actually maybe we can use amnesia, because that's kind of got a little bit of brown, but it also has a hint of lavender. So that could be the piece that actually kind of marries the color from one to the other. So maybe this one here, maybe a little bit shorter. So I can kind of then sort of mix it up, like from this to this. Actually helps connect the one color to the other. Let me just find that spot. Yeah. Like you can see how this goes really nice together. And then the browns. And if I have, actually I bought some fruits, those brown like strands of like the fruits over at the farmer's market, because that brown draped through here will be the bridge that helps connect the lavenders actually to be able to allow myself to use this color combination. So it's a bridging of color from one to the other, so that you can now mix the red to go and then to the lavenders. So anyway, like it's really just about dropping colors and creating just a color bridging across here. So what am I going to do with this in the installation? It's possible that I may be able to place this on the bamboo skewer or a bamboo post and lifted with some support, so that's cradled like this, so that then I can design like this, or from this low design high into another structure, because it has all those tubes. Or I'm going to show a demo later where I might dismantle this to show you something else that you can do with this platter that's really cool. So that's what I'm going to show. Okay. So then, it's really about knowing the diversity of the techniques that you're using. So the next one is going to be this one here. So I made this piece here, and it's supported. It's a ring, a metal ring that's wrapped, but it's supported by the bamboo skewer, so that it's really rigid, and it's also a point of attachment. So onto that, I added this extender to create that lift. And so this could be on the table, on the wall, or in the installation. So you can build it down below, install, and then add to it, right? And this is where the long stems of a lot of the tropicals are really handy. It doesn't have to be that you have the bamboo structure that's built, but you can also use the stem that you have to give it lifts and do a whole bunch of things. So this is one that I also use the red and to marry into the pink and then to the peaches, because it's really about getting an interesting combination of color, and that it doesn't become monochromatic only, that it's really exciting for the eye to be able to see a combination that's really exciting. So that's what that is. But in order to add a little bit more interesting flow of flowers into this, I want to show you these. These are going to be really your most useful piece for flowering into your installations. These are, I call it just chicken wire rolls. And these are podocarpus, which is abundant here. And when you buy from like Greenpoint, it's a nice big bundle. There's a lot in it, which is fantastic because it doesn't take much to make these. And what these are is, by the way, this is a way to keep your chicken wire. You keep it skewered in so that, I just put that in so that I have it, but this is how you keep it, like this, right? Like this, so that when you need it, all you have to do is move this like this so that it doesn't roll out on you. Like you just then cut this, and then you, like that's the best way to keep it, like so that it doesn't go crazy on you. So anyway, basically what you do is take chicken wire like this, and then take podocarpus, and what you're going to do is just cut all these pieces off. Like that. And then you just place it, kind of like make a sushi with it. Because then it becomes just a filler, and you don't waste not any piece of it. And then all you have to do is just roll it up like this. Don't make it too big and don't make it full, because you want to be able to stab into it really nicely. So I also have these bongo ties, which is a rubber band with a stick. Now the stick could be anything. We have lots of sticks in our shop, right? A lot of stub ends. Rose stems are great. There's lots of those in the garbage. So you can use that. And then you simply go and just so that you know, it's best to take this size rubber band because it's a little thicker and you can probably use it 5 or 6 times before you have to throw it away. And all you have to do is take this and just wrap it around. And then you need to pull it really, really tight so that it doesn't slip out. And you just make a whole bunch of those. That's another thing. You have a whole bin of these so that you can just, they're ready to use when you need it. So, but the beauty of this one is that you can reuse this because the podocarpus will stay green and nice for like a month. So you can dismantle multiple installations through a month and be using the same thing over and over again. And even when it dries, it's not bad. So it's really great. But when you're ready to move on, then you can unwrap it, just unhook these, and then you still have a nice plain, straight, beautiful chicken wire that could be used over and over again. But the key is, in using this, what you want to do is, like if you have an arch, people tend to just want to put them like along that outline, the silhouette and straight. That is so boring. I mean, that looks horrible. And it doesn't give you any really interesting design. What you need to do is bend it in such a way, these, so that they're serpentine. So what you want to do is just crimp it so that it becomes curving. That's the whole idea behind this, is you want to create either crescents or just arcs, because then it wraps around the poles and do some really wonderful things. And then you attach that with bongo ties. But of course, you can use zip ties. The only thing with zip ties, it's a single-use plastic. And I prefer not to use it unless I have to. So I prefer the bongo ties. So in this one, for instance, if I wanted some flowers sort of flowing through, up and around, I can add this and bind wire to it. Or down below here, I can add it like this. And now you have surface to put rose heads, shorts. And then what you do with a rose head, seriously, is just like this. This is the best one for the spiked water tubes, like this. So if you have that, and you have a whole bunch of stems, and I know that all of you guys do the rose parade. Oh my gosh, you do plenty of these, don't you? So there's that. And so you have a lot of these done already, pushed in. And all you have to do now in this is just stab it in like that. It just disappears. And you already have a little bit of these greens, so you can see that, oh my gosh, if you want some greens coming out, you do some of that so that you start to lose that core mechanic. It just blends in. You can just design into it like as if it's just a piece of foam, but it's a reusable, beautiful, reuse to reduce kind of a situation. So, but you can see how quickly the mechanic disappears in this, like that. And you know, you don't have the urge to fill every inch like you do foam because it's just greens underneath. And so it just so disappears. You don't need to use anything but just enough flowers to get it done, which is wonderful because we don't have the box anymore to encrust it with layers and layers of flowers. We can't afford to do that, not in labor nor in supply. And so this is how you do it. So with a piece like this, for instance, you're going to attach it, bongo tie, and then you're going to just basically just place in, you know, you can do the greens first if you want. You can also go tall. I mean, you can do a lot. Like, this is what you do. You can build up. And if you have bamboo up here, you can attach a piece of bamboo up here, so it could be really, really tall. I mean, this is just makes it so easy to do a design because you can just green it up so quickly. Look at like that's just like easy, right? It's all in the mechanics. It's all the techniques. So there's just one more thing I wanted to show you. And these are actually round reed. And so I'll be demonstrating, and you can do some sampling of it in a workshop because it's a conglomeration of that ties together to create something like this that could be put in. And then with a chicken wire roll in behind it, you can design into it so that you have this beautiful layer of handcrafted something that floats over it. So these are the kind of the techniques and mechanics that I feel is necessary for you to create some really artful pieces that you could be very proud of. So does that kind of work for you? Are those good enough tips? Okay. Yeah, look at that. Look at how pretty that looks, right? So that's it. That's it for me today. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
So it's really exciting to be here on the site of the installation because this workshop, as you remember, you know, with follow-up to the lecture, that it is about outdoor installation. So the theme was Japanesque Hawaiian floral installation and inspiration, I should say. And really, it's really about kind of manifest itself in 3 sort of postings, the bamboo structures that are built up to represent exactly what we were talking about, the blend of Japanese and Hawaiian native translations. So naturally, this one here, the structure that I had built is made out of like a lot of, I mean, there's actually like almost 100 pieces of extenders, yarn extenders in oranges and reds, which then created a cone that was kind of like a very molten, almost lava looking, because I felt like that was very Hawaiian. And it also becomes a wonderful holder for holding the collection of botanicals that are actually the tropical nouveau combination. So it is the tropicals in mixture with some of the temperate flowers. And most of the temperate flowers, by the way, are grown here on the Big Island, up in the Waimea area where the temperature is a little bit different, growing conditions different, so that I'm able to sort of put them together in such a way so that they showcase each other and show the difference in color and textures. And so this is really a botanical tapestry of collection here found in Hawaii on the Big Island. You can see there's some Gloriosa lilies in there. One of the farms, the Puano farm, that grows Gloriosas. It's wonderful to showcase that kind of juxtaposed over some of the layers of anthuriums and that, just to be able to show the difference and the lightness. I mean, it is, after all, my favorite flower. So I'm really thrilled about that. And then the sort of two towers of floral material. Some of the foliages here are so dramatic. They're much bigger, longer. And look at this beautiful Ravenella palm. It's a traveler's palm, and it's also very heavy. Originally, I was thinking that I would like it up there, but there was no way. Like, it's so heavy but it became a wonderful kind of a base foundation that really solidifies that grouping of material. And so really, the whole idea is to really kind of tease the viewers. Like, look at this, look at this. It's all very magical to have this beautiful selection of tropicals in such a way so that it creates this wonderful intrigue. Like, just really thrilling to have worked with all of this material. And then just sort of going over, that side is actually, it has a little bit more of a Japanesque coloring, because some of this, the brilliant reds are very prominent in Japanese sensibilities, but they really tend to like the lavenders and purples. So I included that because it's now away from that, so I can go into a slightly different, tweaked out color palette. And so I'm able to use a Phalaenopsis in the purple, and then the beautiful Anthurium in the purple in combination, so it's a slightly different. So it shows that kind of different sensibilities from a very dramatic, hot Hawaiian colors to a little bit more Japanesque over here. I am Japanese. I was born in Japan. So it's kind of, it feels right over here, closer to my heritage. And what I love about garden installation, by the way, too, is to be able to use a lot more depth in the design, so that the design usually might be this deep, but out in the garden you can dramatize it, make it a little bit deeper. And the whole intent of is that people can walk into and feel the energy of flowers by coming in close in and see, and at the same time see things coming around you. So it's kind of create this surrounding where it sort of welcomes you into that world of flowers. And I think that's what public installations are all about, is to tease you to come closer and see deeper into the beauty of each one of these flowers. So that's kind of what I did, to do the best I can to connect the Japanese sensibilities with the Hawaiian drama of the beautiful flowers.
Hitomi, thank you so much for your Japanese Hawaiian style inspiration. We were all inspired and very educated by your presentation. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
We've got a few questions for you today. The first question is from our viewing audience, and thank you everyone for participating and sharing your questions with us. The first question, Hitomi, is what are the best tropicals to free stem?
Actually, that's a very good question. Tropicals, by the way, in most part are good for free stemming. because they are much hardier. And especially, I have to say, in the Hawaiian environment where there's moisture, there's humidity, there's a lot of things that you could freeze stem safely. On the mainland, however, different places like Arizona where it's very arid and there's low humidity, there's some different way that you have to approach it. But overall, most things are good for probably from 4 to 8 hours for installation purposes and longer. You just have to test it out to make sure that every item that you use, that you recognize what needs water or not.
Thank you. Great answer. I hope that was helpful to our person asking the question. And the next question is, what weather considerations did you deal with during this install, and how did you handle them?
Oh my gosh, that's a good question too. It rained a lot.
Sure
and
did.
Rain doesn't scare me because where I come from, on Bowen Island in British Columbia, it rains a lot also. And I usually take advantage of it. It just means that everything that you put in, especially when you freeze stem some of them, they will last even better. You can trust that the humidity will help the flowers more than anything. And that it's like a giant spritzing is what it's about. And we love misting things, don't we, to make sure that things hold up. So, but you have to be flexible with the weather. One thing that you have to worry about is if things go out of place because of wind and rain, which really didn't happen. So we were lucky there, but we got wet. We definitely got wet, including the flowers.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. And the next question. How long does the passion flower vine last out of water?
I never use passion vine out of water. They always have to be in water tube. It's a must because it's one of the first things that will show sign of drooping the tip, the growing tip. And growing tip is the most important part that needs to look turgid and lively. Water tube always with passion vine. The good thing is they're really long. So it's, the tip is very disconnected from actually the water tube. You can hide that way at the bottom and let the vine climb, but it needs water.
Okay. Are there any other tropical vines that you would recommend?
There's like jasmine is great. Like there's lots of vines in the tropics that are great, but they are all needing water. There's no vines that I can think of offhand that doesn't require water. So you just have to remember to make sure there's water tube at the very end to support the moisture.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that information. I have a couple questions for you now.
Yes.
What do you think was the value of the Installation Mechanics and Techniques seminar?
I think it really culminated with the actual garden installations for people to participate and also for us to share, to do on site. And so the mechanics and techniques are so very important to be part of that final finish. And the process of doing the workshop, seeing how it's installed, and then for them to do it within 48 hours of seeing it is really a very important thing. It makes the workshop more successful because they get to test out the skills that they saw in the workshop immediately within the time that they're there. So it was great. Great to see them working at it too.
Good, good.
So,
and now one more question, if you don't mind. What was the real value of being on location at the gardens?
Oh my gosh, the best part, I think, was the people that were walking by and curious about our flowers. We don't, when we have a flower shop, you have that opportunity to see people coming in. But in most part, with conferences, everything is closed door in the conference room, and we keep the secret to ourselves. And I really love how public, the consumers, really love seeing what we do and are curious. And we got to share that curiosity with them directly. So it was a wonderful experience, for sure.
Thank you so much, Hitomi, for your valuable presentation and your information.